So I read too much news, essentially. I can't stop reading the news. I always have to know, whatever it is, whether it's the war in Ukraine or domestic issues here or coronavirus or science and technology. I love reading news about science and technology. But most of all, I'm interested in knowing actually the truth, knowing what is out there, what's happening, what's going on. And I do my best looking through as many sources as possible to find that truth, essentially. It takes up a lot of my time. I wish it didn't, so I had time to do other things, but I'm just so curious. I always just have to be up to date with current events. When I was a little kid, my granddad, he was a captain for Qantas, and he bought me and my siblings and I, he bought us a video game with a joystick. It was called Fight Race, I think. Fight Race 2. That was an interesting game. You used to sort of fly around in your plane and shoot people, shoot other planes. But one thing that I would always have trouble with was actually hitting planes, because you sort of have a crosshair in the distance and you're trying to get the bad guy. But I could never seem to actually hit the plane. And one day my granddad said, "Don't aim at the plane, aim in front of the plane, aim where the plane is going to be." And that had a very deep impact on me for some reason. I think later on it's because I learned to think ahead in a way, look at the future, don't view the world as static. My granddad is a very interesting person. He went to all sorts of places around the world as a pilot, and he had all sorts of interesting experiences, met lots of very interesting people, and he just had so many stories from that. And he'd always be telling me those stories. He still does. And it's always very interesting to listen. You were wondering where that story of the video game was going, weren't you? That always stuck with me. Don't aim where the plane is, aim where it's going to be.